Hi, my name is Scott the Miniature Maniac, and today we're going to fawn over my favorite miniature painters in 2019. What up, Mini family? A while back, about 2 years ago, I made another video about my favorite miniature painters, and in that video, I was wearing a blue jean vest, so I figured I'd do it again. I'm also in the midst of working on my crystal brush entry, and I don't have time to make videos about it, so I'm padding my release schedule with content because I'm scared of what Big Daddy YouTube is going to do to me if I skip a week.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, please, no!
Miniature painters are like rock stars to me. Alfonso Heraldez is like James Hetfield. That's a joke for a very specific person. With my increased usage of Instagram, I found more amazing painters that I love and adore. And it should go without saying that each of these miniature painters are amazing in their own right. So I want to discuss what makes them special and distinct to me. Number 5. The first guy I want to talk about is EMUSE, or Enrique Velasco. By the way, I'm sorry if I mispronounce names. I'm awful. I've loved Enrique's work for a long time. The number one piece of feedback that most miniature painters get is this needs more contrast. Enrique's work is that feedback taken to the limit, almost to a point where it's become a style of his own. His work is incredibly contrasted. A lot of his shadows go to complete black, irregardless of the material or subject matter. When I was looking for inspiration for my 2017 crystal brush entry, I looked to Enrique's Elrond model for inspiration. One piece of his that I think my viewers will like a lot is a diorama called Ambush, where he has the Centurion being attacked by a group of Necrons. Super cool scene. I feel like his super contrast style suits this grim scene. Number 4, let's talk about MASCLANS, or MASCLANS. That's how my dumb American alter ego would pronounce it. MASCLANS. My alter ego. Who am I kidding? That's what I am all the time. Marc's work is distinctive, to say the least. When you look at Marc's work, it's clear miniature to miniature that each one was painted by him. Even when something is a different subject matter with a different color palette, it's still very clear that something is distinctly Marc about it. One thing I absolutely love about his work is his interpretation of different materials. Let's take a look at this bust entitled Die Nederlandse Edelman 1624. If we take his photo and make it black and white, you can still tell that each part of his character's outfit is made from a distinct material. The hat is felt, the sash around his waist is silk, his shirt is a heavier fabric, and his gloves are leather. He knows what makes each material special, whether it's how reflective or how much texture it has, etc. This is an advanced technique that I have very little grasp on, but Marc understands it and he is crushing it. I'm also left wondering what it takes to create a distinctive style like Marc has. If I had to guess, I would assume that in his long and storied career, he has developed a palette of colors that he likes to use to mix highlights and shadows that I could attribute to it. In an article on Volumir, Marc talks about how he uses atmospheric colors to mix into every color in his palette to pull all the tones into his palette a little bit closer. Whatever it is, it's something I myself and everyone wants. When someone sees your work in the wild, they point and say, "Hey, that was painted by Scott," and not because I made a video about it, but because it has my touch marks on it. Number 3, this is kind of off the wall for me. On Instagram, I discovered a group account called Iron Sleet, and from that account, a user called MIGSULA. The word Blanchitsu gets tossed around a lot in the miniature painting world, and its intended purpose is to mean a derivative work of John Blanche, an illustrator for Games Workshop. When you boil it down, what it really means is the miniatures are dark and grisly looking. Typically for myself, when I hear the word Blanchitsu, I think, oh, this is going to look bad for the sake of looking bad. I've never seen a miniature interpretation of John Blanche's work that makes me go, oh, that not only looks like John's work, but also looks good. That is, until I found MIGSULA. One project I love of MIGSULA's is his Untold Squad. I am so into the idea of making a unique squad of guys loosely tied together with a theme looking like a cohesive unit, and MIGSULA does this incredibly well. Miniature painting is more than just painting, it's also conversion, and not all conversion is equal. For instance, I'm bad at it and MIGSULA is great. He has an eye for what two seemingly separated bits can go together to create a unique character. Then he paints it up in a way that looks super dark and grisly without also looking bad. Number 2, speaking of conversions, let's talk about a French blog. I don't read as many blogs as I used to, but there's still one I read a lot, and that's Le Blog de Cooze, which is run by a group of passionate French hobbyists, and it's full of absolutely astonishing conversions and squads. It's basically more of MIGSULA, but painted and converted in a different style. The blog showcases many miniature painters who create these wonderfully converted squads. The mastermind behind it all seems to be Morbec, or Maxime Pastorel. I feel fancy when I try to pronounce French. Je t'aime. Oui, baguette. Now that I've offended every single French person watching this video, Maxime has been a miniature designer for GW since 2012, and his intimate knowledge of GW's catalog of miniatures and sculpting ability put together allows him to create one-of-a-kind squads. It's the kind of stuff that you wish GW would then create and sell in boxed sets. One of my all-time favorite pieces of Maxime's is what he did with the Avatar of Cain model that comes from the Cauldron of Blood set. It's absolutely astonishing, and I could stare at this thing for hours and keep finding things that I love about it. I would kill to get my hands on a squad of miniatures converted and painted by Maxime. Number 1, saving the best for last, as per usual, Rodrigo Acorde. I also feel fancy pronouncing Spanish names. Baguette. You know when you have a rom-com and the lead actress is playing some girl in high school and she loves this dude, but she doesn't know why she loves this dude? No, you don't know that? Well, I'm just trying to make up an analogy to justify how much of a freak I am for this guy. Whatever this guy touches with a paintbrush, I love. And I don't know why. He is among one of the only painters that I'd actually become a patron of to see his specific painting process. The only problem is he doesn't have a Patreon campaign detailing his process. Rodrigo, if you're watching this video, you have a fanboy who's ready to throw money at you.
Figure it out.
I mean, look at this work in progress of a large-scale Chaos Lord made by Beyond Miniatures. He has blue, teal, red, purple, yellow, and white, and somehow it works together, and it looks freaking amazing. Speaking of, something else I like about Rodrigo's work is how colorful it is. Taking a look at a close-up of this Ultramarine Sergeant, we can see the blue of the armor that's been toned down with a desaturated highlight, the pink flash in the temple of his head, the green scanner. It's so colorful, but it's not gaudy. Whenever I add a lot of colors, my minis look like clowns, but not Rodrigo, you sweet, sweet Spanish man. Well, guys, that's my list for 2019. Maybe we can make this an annual thing so I can have an out for YouTube when I'm feeling lazy every now and then. Something I want to say is that I am keenly aware that there are very talented miniature painters that I am leaving off of my list that have dozens and dozens of awards. One of them is Kirill Kanayev. But Kirill doesn't get my loins moist like Rodrigo does. And you know, I'd love to know who gets your loins moist. So in a comment below, leave your favorite miniature painters so we can all share and support them and support this community and get inspired by more people. All right, guys, that's going to finish up the video. Before we go, I want to ask for a little bit of help. I'm in the midst of making a miniature, a 75mm vampire. And the step that I'm going to be getting into is needing to find someone to print and cast my miniature. If you know someone who can do either one of those things, or you yourself do them, please send me an email to this email right here. Get in touch with me. I'd love to work with you. All right, guys, if you liked the video and you want to support the channel, you can find several links in the description to do so, namely a Patreon campaign with a bunch of fun rewards, like a Discord server where you and I can hang out any day of the week and chat about your miniature painting projects, or, I don't know, the taste of... Also in the description, you can find an Amazon shopping link that you can use while shopping on Amazon. Subscribe or die! And most importantly, don't forget...